Ape Nation, boys and girls, what's going on? It is Sunday, September 12th, 2021, and I'm making this video. I had something totally different planned for today, but I'm going to say it right now. Jordan, I read your comment, and I decided not to do a Lou video. It was something that pissed me off this weekend that he put in a video, but I decided to scrap it because I read your comment, so Lou owes you. What I am going to talk about is this week coming up. The broader implications of things that are going on in the real world, how they could affect the market, and why I truly believe that AMC is one of the best hedges right now against the market correction. Real quick, before we get into that video and talking about the broader implications of the market, just take a look at this chart once again. I've been looking at it all weekend because I've had some time to myself. And, you know, going back to this day here, this was June 29th. And if you look at this attack that we had, or this sell-off, sure, there was probably some retail panic in here, but buying and holding has become so effective. This normally should have cascaded and should have actually accelerated in any other time in the stock market with any other stock. You probably would have seen a massive sell-off here. Especially with all the FUD that's out there, everything the mainstream media is pushing on us, telling us how shitty this stock is. You should have seen a massive panic sell-off here, back down to maybe somewhere between the $14 and $20 range. But I think this got halted in its tracks because at some point, people started to buy in again because the price had come back down and they know the potential of the stock. And the fact that there are so many of us out there in this movement that are holding AMC really with a kung fu grip right now, just shows you. And look at the rebound we've made. Going back all the way down to when we were at, what, $28.91 on August 5th. And in just over a month, we have stair-stepped, and we just broke $50. And I think the week ahead looks good. But I want to talk about some broad things in the market and why AMC might be the best hedge right now against a market correction, maybe in history of the stock market. But before we jump into it,
cue the speeder.
And you just said that on camera. This going viral.
guys, thank you so much for crushing it and getting me to 1,000 subscribers. If I haven't earned your subscription yet, this is the way. All right, guys, so before we get into a detailed explanation of this week, I just want to say we hit 1,300 subscribers this morning, and I just can't thank you guys enough for everything you guys have done for me and this channel and this movement and the likes and the comments and everything. I just want to keep reminding you guys that I really, really appreciate it because there's not a lot of money in this. But I'm counting on AMC to be my ticket to financial freedom. And I know a lot of you guys are planning on that too. So let's just keep up the good work. And I just want to continue to say thank you because it keeps me motivated to keep making these videos. No matter the time or day or how tired I am, it's important that we keep the pressure on these people and let them know that we're not going anywhere. All right, so let's talk about the good news first. So I know this play is not based on fundamentals, and you guys remind me that in the comments all the time, and I'm well aware of that. I understand that. I know this is just a play on a short squeeze for AMC, but this news is really, really good for the movie theaters in general overall. I'm a fan of the movie theaters. I was a film and journalism student. A lot of you guys know that. They've been watching me for a while. I did journalism and I did film studies in college. And I just think this is a really, really positive thing for AMC and the movies overall. I don't want to see the movies go anywhere. I like and enjoy going to the movies. I have 3 movies that are coming up that I desperately want to see. A couple of you in the comments the other day said that Shang-Chi was really good. I don't know too much about the lore, so I haven't seen it. But it's possible I'm going to take a trip to go see it just because I want to know what it's about. The fact that Disney, and I think there's a lot of pressure put on here by the Scarlett Johansson debacle with Black Widow. And, you know, Disney kind of, their hand was forced a little bit. Now, I can't stand Disney. Anybody who's been watching me also knows I have no love for Disney. Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Chapek, Bob Iger. I can't stand any of them. I think they are destroying some of the most historic film franchises in the world, in history. And I like to see them all get vanquished, like the hedge funds. But for AMC and the stock right now, this news is really good. And the fact that they're going to be doing 30-day exclusive in-the-theater releases for Disney films, because that's something where you have probably multiple people attending the movie together, families. That's more revenue for the box office, which means Q4 numbers and earnings for AMC should be up. If the squeeze lasts that long and we get good quarterly earnings, then the fundamentals just keep being positive, and that can't hurt the squeeze. And that's the only thing I'm trying to get across to everyone is I understand the fundamentals. The price is not based on them. But for the overall picture and the short squeeze and the MOAS of AMC, the fundamentals are important, because if people lose faith that they can generate revenue, then there will be no MOAS. They'll think, well, the movie theaters are finished and we just have to wait out the apes and we can short this thing into the dust. And we can't have that. I can't have that, and I know most of you guys can't either. So I think this is good news, and take it for what it is, but it's not hurting us in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so moving on to the broader market. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard this already, and you know the deal about September being a very historically bad time in the market. Just overall, I believe May or April is supposed to be like the best month for the stock market. But historically, September is horrible in the stock market. And I just want to mention a few things that are coming this week that could just pile on to the historically bad month that we're in right now. All right, and let's start off with tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the first Monday that any of the 11 million people who are on extended unemployment benefits that were receiving an extra $300 a week will see that disappear. That's going to be gone starting tomorrow. So there's 11 million Americans out there who have collected an extra $300 from the CARES Act that was signed back in March by the Biden administration to give unemployment benefits a $300 boost to help through the pandemic. And now this is the first check that people will be getting without that extra $300. Secondly, on Tuesday, the CPI data is coming out, and that's going to give us a much better idea of exactly how inflation is looking. In July, we saw increases pretty much across the board, and I have a feeling that the numbers are not going to look much better for August. I could be wrong, but I think we might be continuing on a trend to the upside on inflation. And another thing that's coming this week that we need to talk about is Thursday. Thursday, all the retail sales for the country are being released. And it's just going to give us a better understanding of the spending trend that we see that has gone on over the summer. So now if you take those three events together and combine them, and you add on top of it that the eviction moratorium is still in place right now, the Supreme Court has put a stay on the CDC's eviction moratorium, which allowed you to stay in your apartment till the middle of October. You put all these things together, and there's a very good chance that we could begin to start seeing some stagflation in the economy with the US dollar. And then you add on top of that the fact that the Saudis are now making deals with Russia for protection and not using the petrodollar. There's just a lot of things happening in the world right now, in the broader market, that could have implications, and probably looking at some type of pullback or correction. I don't think it'll be a major collapse right now, but you're probably going to see some pullback if the numbers don't make sense next week. If we see something that's adding to stagflation or that's running towards stagflation, you're going to see investors getting very tight with their wallets. There was an article that came out, I believe this was from late August. Yeah, it was actually August 31st. And the article was from The Street, and it says how GameStop and AMC stock could be a market hedge. It says corrections are a feature, not a flaw of the markets. Today, Wall Street Memes discusses how AMC and GME stock could potentially be used as a hedge against market weakness. And we just got finished talking about the fundamentals, right, with the Disney thing. So basically what this article is talking about is using GME and AMC as a hedge. So I'm going to read this quick paragraph. It says, it is reasonable to expect that in a market correction scenario caused by macroeconomic factors, everything we just talked about, investors would seek alternative forms of investment. In the case of AMC and GME, price action has been largely determined by supply and demand dynamics, which is partially true. We know they've been using the dark pool to settle scores. We know that they've been loading up on the FTDs. We know that they've been creating synthetic shares. So yes, it has to an extent, and still we're seeing a price rise when they're doing all those things to the AMC. How incredible is that? And determined by supply and demand dynamics, not so much by business fundamentals. Then why not park some money in these two stocks when the market and the economy weaken? Investing in AMC and GME stocks might be one way to ride positive ape sentiment and sidestep a fundamentalist-driven market pullback. Of course, putting money in meme stocks brings its own set of risks, but being exposed to broad market bearishness might not be one of them. So it says here, and there's a tweet from Wall Street Memes. It says, in preparation for a hypothetical scenario of market correction, which investment would you consider owning as a hedge? And 57.8% said stonks over gold, over bonds, and over cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA. So when you see something like that, you have to take into consideration that this is probably, yes, a lot of retail, but as we've seen and, we've talked about in the past, there is big money. Institutional buying has been very solid for AMC, way more than selling. And just to look at it from a different angle or perspective, if you weren't in the ape movement and you look at a chart of AMC and see what it's been doing for the last month and a half, and the rest of the market continues to pull back as we saw last week, I mean, everything on my portfolio last week was red except AMC, including GME. There's so much bullish momentum right now for AMC that it might get people thinking who might not even know what's going on right now, saying, maybe I should throw some money in AMC. I mean, it's looking really good on the charts. It looks like it's climbing back. It held $50 for the first time in 2 months. And they're looking at all new time highs, which we could be reached very shortly. We're looking at getting back to that $70 range where we have not seen that in just about 3 months. All right, guys, and I'm going to end it with this. All right now we really need to do is continue to do what we've been doing. Buy and hold the stock of AMC. Let this thing play out. They haven't covered their shorts, and we are still in the driver's seat. So just stay relaxed, stay calm. I think we're going to be good this week. Let's hope we see some green. And I'm not going to take up any more of your time because I want to go watch Mac Jones make his first start as a Patriot. I'm very excited about that. All right, guys. That's all I've got for this afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Again, thank you for all your support. If you want to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, that would be great. If not, that's okay too. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Master Lorian, and I'm going to watch the Pats.